Hey guys, it's Chris, and today I want to talk about a type of guy that everyone is a little bit or very familiar with, and that is the nice guy. And you guys might have a little bit of an image in your mind of what I mean when I'm talking about nice guys. What I think of nice guys when that comes in mind is a guy who is overly nice, overly polite, doesn't really ever express sexuality or desire or attraction. Uh, a guy who might be often like become a doormat for others and women, and a guy who sometimes will burst out in anger and be pissed that others don't recognize what a gentleman he is. So what are the conditions that lead someone into becoming a nice guy? And if you are one, how do you change that? How do you get out of that? So, nice guys are nothing more than men who were raised with the belief that some of their natural desires are not acceptable, they're not okay to have. It's men who were raised with the fear of punishment, either by family, society, or religion. Like a very common example of that is somebody who was raised in a religious family or in a religious country, and he was raised with the belief that I don't know, having sex before marriage is not appropriate, or masturbating is not appropriate, or expressing sexual desire is not appropriate, right? And the thing with those men is that they were raised to believe that them suppressing, hiding those natural desires, feeling shame and guilt for them, and then trying to hide them, is the right thing to do. And they were actually raised to believe that this sort of behavior is moral, is good, and it is going to be rewarded. So what happens is they go out there in real life and they behave in a way and they push back their own desires. They hide all those things that they want to do. They hide their attraction for a woman. They hide a lot of things. They're not being their real selves, and they have those behaviors where they might come across as overly polite, or they might come across as super nice, but like not authentically nice. It's kind of like a cringy feeling that they give off when you see them behave that way. And what happens is, exactly because they're suppressing all those desires, and exactly because they have this expectation of reward. I mean, that's what they're taught. That's what they were taught after all. Because they have that expectation of reward, sometimes when people don't recognize how moral or how good men they are, and they don't reward them, they don't validate these behaviors, when they don't recognize their self-sacrifice, those nice guys might actually burst out in anger and resentment at others for not giving them credit. But in reality, they're not really they're not making any sacrifice. They're not really doing something good for anyone else. They're just making their life harder. And it's not even it's also very common that those guys, very often they will be envious and they will resent other men who get the desired results, all those things that they want. Maybe the other men get the hot girl, or they are popular, or they have a big social circle. And the nice guys will be mad at them. They will be envious. They will be jealous of them. They will resent them because those men get their desired results without seemingly abiding by the same moral values, or by doing the same sacrifices, or by doing what is appropriate, what is right. And sometimes the nice guys will see that those behaviors don't really bring them any result, but they don't really understand what it is that will bring them their desired results. So they often try to, they will try to adopt, they will try to mimic the opposite behavior. So a lot of times you will see some nice guys who will try to change their personality, and they will try to change their behaviors, and they will try to pretend that they are bad boys or they're players, like especially in the pickup community, like a lot of pickup artists, they are pretending that they're players and like bad boys, but what they really are at heart is they're still the same nice guys. So they create a second layer of suppression on top of what they had before. So before they had the shame and the guilt for having the desire and the fear of punishment for it, and now they're also trying to go against that fear, but without really understanding what that fear is, that fear of punishment and where it comes from, and that guilt and that shame. So they create a second layer of resistance, and they're basically fighting their own selves and their own emotions in two fronts. So very often those nice guys will manage to get rid of neither of those layers, neither the shame and the guilt and the fear of punishment, and neither the resistance of like trying to go against that and get their desired results. I mean, sometimes they might get on a very superficial level something that might seem like the desired result, but it's not really. And that's because in the back of their mind, that shame and the guilt and all the resistance that they feel for having that natural desire is still there, and it's still torturing them. So if you're a nice guy, or if you know somebody who is, the only way for a nice guy to get rid of that sort of how do you say that front, that chain, is to go back to make a 180-degree turn, stop fighting, and go back into the past and identify the moment in their life when they started suppressing the real desires. When did they start hiding? When did they start covering up? When did they start feeling shame and guilt for having a specific desire? And then what they also need to find is the fear of punishment for having that desire, and maybe even like the fear of punishment for acting out on that desire. So what were you afraid of as a kid? Like, did your parents, let's say, caught you jerking off or something, or were you like rude to someone, and then you were taught that this is a rude behavior and you can't be loud, or you can't say something specific? What are all those fears that you will be punished? What are all those fears that motivate you, or like maybe like threaten you, so that you have to be a good boy and a moral man? You have to find those and shed light on those skeletons from the past. And this is the only way when you manage to do this, that you will become not a nice guy, but you will become a good man, a good human, a man of value, who is completely honest, not just with himself, but also with others about his desires, and a man who will be fully ready to receive, to enjoy 100% this thing that you've always desired. This is it for me, and until next time, thanks for watching.